Shalom, Salakia. My phone disconnected, but as I was saying in the previous video, uh, you know, Joseph went into Mary before the actual ceremony, marriage ceremony could take place, and to save her that embarrassment, because like I was saying before the video got cut off, upon that marriage ceremony, when you went into your wife and made it official, you gave you gave that bloody bed sheet into the parents, because uh, it was a token, a sign showing that their daughter was an actual virgin. Just in case the man marrying the daughter in any situation, whatever man may be or woman, uh, if the man wanted to complain and be like, "Hey, I don't even think she was a real virgin," the parents could show, uh, the officials, "Hey, no, she was a virgin. Look at this is the bloody sheet," and him going into Mary early before that ceremony could take place. If they would have went in and did it, and on the actual day of the ceremony, there would have been no blood on that bed sheet, and it would have been a tell sign that they had already messed around. He already cracked the seal before it was time to be cracked, so to speak. But this is Deuteronomy 22, and starting off at 13, says, "If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her, and give occasions of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid, not a virgin," like I said earlier, that Bathwala, or Bathwala, a literal virgin. She wasn't. Her cherry already been popped. She didn't bleed. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity. That bloody rag. Like, hey man, nah, she was right. She was good to go. Look at it. This is the blood. It says, "Take forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate, and the damsel's father." Salakia. Oh yeah. "And the damsel's father would say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her. And lo, he hath given occasions of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid, and yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city, and the elders of the city shall take that man and chastise him, and they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he hath brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel, and she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all her days. But if this be true, and the token of the virginity be not found of the damsel, they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones that shall die, because she hath wrought folly in Israel, to play the whore of her in her mother Slakia, to play the whore in her father's house. So shalt thou put evil away from among you." So yeah, he was saving her that embarrassment, because ultimately, she could have been put to death. That situation could have went bad for her. So he was sparing her from that. Uh, Let me keep going. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto a husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, Then ye shall bring them both unto the gate of the city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel because she cried not, being in the city, and the man because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife, so that thou shalt put away evil from among you. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man for okay, Salakia. Oh yeah, Salakia. I wasn't supposed to go that far into there. I was looking at another precept. But yeah, that was the whole reason why he went into her early, and he didn't want to show that if she wasn't a virgin on that day of the ceremony, so he didn't have any more intercourse with her until the birth of Yahushua, but to even so with that all being said, that shows that Joseph is the actual father of Yahushua, the earthly father, the father of the flesh. Ultimately his father is Yahweh, but that father of the flesh is Joseph, who came out of the that line of David. It says in numerous precepts calling Yahushua the son of Salakia, of Joseph. Let's go into John 1:45. Philip findeth Nathanael and saith unto him, We have found him, of whom Moses in the law and the prophets did write, Yahushua of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. Boom, they wouldn't, yeah, he was the son of God, but they still acknowledge him as the son of Joseph, because that's who his father was in the flesh. Another one, John 6:42, and they said, is not Salakia. They said, is not this Yahushua, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How is it then that he saith, I came down from heaven? So there's another precept right there that they're pointing out that Yahushua is the son of Joseph. One more is Luke 4:22. In the NLT, everyone spoke well of him and was amazed by the gracious words that came from his lips. How can this be? They asked. Isn't this Joseph's son? The one. There's more, but that was pretty much the point. The people in the city even acknowledged him as Joseph's son. The seed of David coming from that line. Like I said, through David came down the line came Jacob, and Jacob begat Judah, being the head tribe of the 12 tribes of Israel, and Yahushua being the head of Judah, springing up out of Judah. So it says Hebrews 7:14. For this is evident that our Lord Yahushua sprang out of Judah, which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood. So yeah, he came from the tribe, but you can only you can only be from a tribe, through the seed, through the flesh. Though him being the son of Yahweh wasn't from the tribe of Judah. Yahweh didn't have a tribe. Yahweh didn't have no flesh. He didn't come in the body. Just in the same way, though he was in the flesh, Melchizedek, it says that he didn't have a mother or a father, and if you could receive that through the spirit, Melchizedek was the same spirit as Yahushua. Later on came back as Yahushua. They all shared that same spirit. A couple other people too. Isaac, Solomon. They shared that spirit, just like I said, just like Melchizedek, all the way on down, Adam, who's Yahweh Shai was the first Adam and the last Adam, roughly paraphrasing. But yeah, like I said, he ended up coming up out of the tribe of Judah. Like I said, Melchizedek didn't have a mother or father. He didn't have a tribe. He just came. He what if he had a mother, then yeah, then that would prove that the whole immaculate conception was real. Because how are you gonna say that Melchizedek, if I'm not saying he has a mother and a father, but I'm saying obviously, if that was the case, then then that if he did have a mother and was just born like that, but he didn't have a mother nor a father. That's what I'm saying. That's the point. He didn't have a tribe. He didn't have, Yahweh Shai has a mother, a father, a tribe, because he came of that seed of Joseph. Joseph was his father. I can't, I don't know. I can't make it any more clear. I'm just kind of beating a dead horse right now at this point. But, if it needs to be beat, it needs to be beat. But, I got one more scripture and I'm gonna close it out. This is Wisdom of Solomon 7:1-6. I myself am a mortal man, like to all, and the offspring of him that was first made of the earth. Yahweh Shai. And in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in the time of 10 months, being compacted in blood of the seed of man, and the pleasure that came with sleep, with the pleasure, that sex, going in unto your woman, and releasing that seed, and when I was born, I drew in the common air and fell upon the earth, which is of like nature, and the first voice which and the first voice which I uttered was crying, as well as all others do. When he was born, he was a baby and he was out there crying, like everybody, the regular natural way of birth, I was nursed in swaddling clothes, and that with cares. For there is no king that hath any other beginning of birth. For all men have one entrance into life, and the like going out. So yeah, all men have one entrance unto the earth, and like you said, he was born of the seed of man, of that pleasure that comes with sleep. So ultimately, he's saying every man, Yahweh Shai was a man, though he was the perfect man. He was still a man, and just like Solomon, he came through that seed of man. That man being Joseph. With the pleasure that came with sleep, with that pleasure that came with him lying with Mary. That's how, Yahweh Shai was conceived. For all men have one entrance into life. There was no king that had any other beginning of birth. That's plain and simple. It's self-explanatory. And that virgin birth is a myth. Get that out of your brain. That was the lesson. Like I said, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. I got the point across. Lord willing, this is edifying unto the body. You brothers and sisters out there. Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Hawachak Wadash. Double honors unto the elder apostles and elder bishops, the great millstone, the men who rule and teach well. Guide us along our journeys. Sincere shalom into the 144,000 hopeful elect men scattered abroad, pushing the word in righteousness. And shalom barakatan to you, Aki and Wakwath, diligently searching out this truth and these answers that we need, to obtain salvation. Blessings unto you and your households. Until next time, shalom, prakata, wa bababa.